episode 3, who knew it would go on this long, of JigJaw. And I really, really hope that you dance to that music, because I really like it, and it makes me shimmy, and it's so naff, and it just makes me laugh anyway, but then I'm quite easy to make laugh. So I had a message from my dear friend Svenny, so-called for tax reasons, but he sent me, all he had to do was this, he sent me a GIF of paint drying, and that's been his only note on this, on my efforts here. It was a paintbrush with paint very slowly drying on a wall, so not sure he's going to be in for the long haul, or indeed past the first one. However, I'm here. I'm going to move my mic a bit closer. So I'm very aware that I'm not doing very well with this jigsaw. Matt, my old man, he was laughing, saying, "You're not actually going to do the jigsaw with everybody. Like, surely you're going to do bits off camera and do a bit of the jigsaw." And that hadn't even occurred to me, actually. I genuinely thought that over the 8 years this is going to take me to do it, that I would find the edge pieces with you and then we'd do it together. But Matt said that I should do stuff off camera and do like a whizzy speedy thing. But to be honest with you, I'm not digging that. I did have to watch a bit back to make sure that I thought I'd stopped the camera yesterday, so I had to watch it back a bit, and I was screaming out that I could see some edge pieces, so it must be maddening if you're watching this and you can see an edge piece and I'm missing it. So I think I'm right with the colours. I spoke to my podcast guru earlier, Nathan, who's that man loitering on my Miffy today, just hanging out in front of my Miffy. And he agreed that the colours, putting him in colours was quite a good plan, but we'll see, won't we, if that works as a thing. So what I thought I'd do is I would generally try and find some edge pieces, because I don't think, well, roughly the 35 pieces I found are really going to sustain your interest for much longer. Scott, who is an accountant, our accountant, which sounds very grand that we've got an accountant, it gives the impression we're loaded. We're not. We're just really scared of numbers, Matt and I, and all that paperwork, and Scott absolutely loves it. Anyway, so he said it was too long, but to be honest with you, Scott, when I'm working on a show, right, I speak to people's ears for about 6 months sometimes, so it turns out you're a bit of a lightweight, so get on with your Excel spreadsheet. Right, see, what should I do? Should I move these bits away that I've rummaged through? Yes, I think I should. So apart from Svenny's glowing review of paint drying, I now have the heady amount of subscribers I've saw of 11. So I'm actually into double figures, and which is obviously I should be doing some champagne tonight, because I really thought I'd only have 3. So 11 is actually mental chicken oriental. I spoke to Liz. Now, here, under this Miffy, don't know if you can see that. It's not, I printed it out, but I'm a bit annoyed by it. You can't really see it, but here are the Merrill utility shoes that I've spoken of, because I want you to get to know them. These are actually, the whole picture is when I had a day with them. She left them accidentally at my house to do a job, and then I put them by my dog, but it hasn't printed very well. That's the dog that had obviously eaten something utterly rancid the other day. But that's the Merrill utility shoe, and I'm just going to have those popped under my Miffy there, because again, the rain is terrible today. So I think my jumper just caught the mic then. Yes, so here we go. Let's see. Let me just try and find a couple of edges, so that all those with OCD out there, of which there are quite a few, don't just go mad because they can't stand watching it. It's meant to be all relaxing and calming, isn't it? Like watching a roaring fire, except it might be quite irritating as well, I grant you. I was thinking of maybe doing a live one, if I can work out how on earth to do it. I mean, it's taken me long enough to work out how to switch the camera on. I've just spent 20 minutes putting the camera in, not understanding why it wasn't really clicking in and then I did it upside down. So that's because my kids have abandoned me and they're watching other things now. They're over this. I just found Matt watching YouTube again, but not my YouTube. Not watched this yet. Hasn't got time apparently. He was watching. I asked him what it was, and he said it's a finger routing YouTube channel where you make joints, not human joints, wooden joints. So he's chosen to watch on YouTube people routing finger joints today, as opposed to my efforts in the shed, which, fair enough, it's probably a little bit of respite for him because I do chat to him a lot. He either just pretends to go to sleep or genuinely goes to sleep as I'm mid-sentence, or now he just puts his new wireless headphones on and does something completely different. So I spoke to Liz yesterday and she was telling me about her dad, because her dad is unbelievable. He's 94 and just extraordinary, and he's isolating and everything, but because he's running out of drinks, like he's rummaging around, he's found a bottle of rum, and he because he can't nip to the shops for mixers or anything, he found some milk, so he drank rum and milk the other day, so which was marvellous. And then he said to Liz yesterday that he'd found something fizzy in the cupboard, and he doesn't know what it was, but he had rum and whatever the fizzy was in the cupboard, which could have been, I said to Lisbeth, could have been Sterident, couldn't it? Or it could have been some old bottle of something that's been there for so long, because I think Liz's dad would eat like sardines out of a tin from 1976 if he found them, that sort of thing, whereas we chuck away something when it's like half a day over the sell-by date. But yeah, so I love the idea of Liz's dad sitting up in Leicester, just randomly finding things in his cupboard to go with his rum. Pete, who will never join me on this microphone ever, even after lockdown, he volunteered to help the lady down the road. There's an old lady down the road, so he thought his act of kindness in this COVID-19 era was to go and see if she needed any shopping. So far, she's only asked for gin, and Pete's a little bit concerned that he's essentially feeding an alcoholic woman, because she seems to get her food from elsewhere. People are dropping food off, but they're clearly not dropping gin and tonics in. And because Pete's very, very cautious about hygiene, to be fair, his gin probably stinks of Dettol when it gets in, so it's probably not quite the experience she was looking for. But at the moment, Pete's just delivering an old woman gin as often as she can get it, which I'm not really sure whether the NHS volunteering service had that in mind. Not really. He's not on that. Just before you panic, Pete, I know you're not really on it. You're doing it off your own bat. Right, I'm right over here now. I don't know if you can see me. Probably not. I'm going to go back over here. I wonder if I've bought too many pieces. Now you'll see that I'm wearing black today. I'm wearing black, which be interesting to know what you think. But someone asked me about my jewellery. Now, if you want to send me some, I'm absolutely happy to wear it. Anything, I will literally take any. This one is from the Canadas, and my lovely friend Hilary, who was ravaging elk and stuff yesterday, she got it for my birthday, and apparently I'm a sacred raven. It's indigenous carving. So I'm a sacred raven, just so you know. So just beware of me. That's for my lovely friends in Scotland. That's me on my way down the road bit. And that is from my darling Gemma, who's sitting in Cardiff in the Nightingale Centre. Look, Gem, it looks nice, doesn't it? Every day they're on. Right, let's have a look. I think, as a joke, Ravensburger have only put, I don't know, 28 edge pieces in, and the rest of it's just puzzle. Or maybe there aren't any edges. Maybe that's the joke, and I've fallen for it. Let's have a look. How dare Scott say it was boring? Well, not boring. You didn't say it was boring, did you, Scott? You said it was too long. But maybe that's rock and roll accountancy for you. It just goes faster than the wind. Here we go. Claire, who I spoke about yesterday, she the one who dresses up in slightly spooky clothing, and I had to tell her off, she has confessed to me that she has a jigsaw addiction. So even if everybody else falls away from this and goes, that's quite enough of that, thank you, Claire will be with me all the way. And the minute lockdown, Liz, what's your name? Claire, middle age. The minute lockdown, she'll be over that Dartford Bridge, and she will be coming here, because I think when this all stops, the plan is that I've got a couple of chairs. Well, I will have a couple of chairs around here, and then the thought is that you can come and chat to me, and because you're distracted with the jigsaw, you chat more easily. You see, and you'll tell me things you don't mean to. That's the plan. Oh, I had another email from Dwayne, which was exciting. And he said a couple of things, actually. Let me refer to my notes. Did I write it down, or is it? Oh, I might have just kept it in my email. He said that he is watching this, and he also said, did we know that when he's not working with us as a stage manager, he works for the Queen? And I said, we do know that, but we pretend you don't. He's mysterious. He's like Peter Andre. If Peter Andre was going to sing about mysterious girl, a mysterious boy, Dwayne would be that mysterious boy, because only so many people know certain. I only know 9 facts about Dwayne. Dwayne, don't panic. I'm not going to say all 9, but we think, because he is so mysterious, that when he's not working with us, he has a secret life, and he's just told me he works for the Queen. But I suppose you can't be working for her anymore, can you? Not at the moment. Has she furloughed you? I didn't know what the word furlough was until about 3 weeks ago. Never heard of it. Now I'm throwing it around. I'm throwing it around quite casually. There we go. Edge piece. Get in. How exciting. Right, let's have a look round. So Mark, my friend who runs a cafe, he emailed me and said, let's just get this right. Where is it? He said, dear Joe, I'm using a lot of hand gel at the cafe at the moment, but once I've itched my testicles behind my apron once in a food preparation area, do I have to hand gel again if I'd just done it already? Well, do you know, I don't know on that one, Mark. I don't actually know, because you've hand gelled once, haven't you? And then your apron presumably is pretty clean. A little tinker, a little itch. I don't know. I don't know what you've got taught in your health and hygiene certificate training. I personally would just go for it, especially if you're in the back of the kitchen, and no one can really see you. I'd crack on. But then I'm not possibly the person to ask on this, really. So Nathan and Andrew, who are living in Sydney at the moment for many reasons, but they're living in Sydney, and they have rented an apartment there. And the back of their house is a little. Now, just can I before I carry on with this story, can you make sure there aren't children involved listening to this? Not that anyone's listening to it particularly, but if you happen to have a child with you, this really isn't for children. When I had to sign up to YouTube, it said, "Is this content for children?" I thought, no, sort of, because it's a jigsaw, but also not sort of, because I say cock a lot. Anyway, so they were telling me that of an evening they race to get their dinner and sit down and have their dinner together. Not because of the romantic reasons you thinking, oh, this is nice and we'll watch a bit of telly. Because they eat it in the dark for this very reason. They turn all their lights off. And I don't know if you've ever seen that show Rear Window, or the film Rear Window. Well, Rear Window is where there's a couple in an apartment and they can see into all of the other apartments when they've got their lights on. And basically, Andrew and Nathan are watching everybody. All these apartments are having sex. So at least five apartments are going hammer and tongs during this isolation. And one guy, apparently yesterday, he masturbated for, was it 3 hours or 5, did you say? Let's say 3, because I don't want to exaggerate anything. They literally watched him. Every time they went and did something else, came back, he was still cracking up. My God, could you be bothered? 3 hours. I think it might even have been 5. But they sat, and every time they came back, he was still there. Another guy cracks on in the bathroom, and then his girlfriend comes in, and I felt a bit sorry for my Matt really, because I can't be bothered. There's too much television to watch. There's too much jig drawing, and there's too much pottering around. Anyway, so Sydney sounds quite active really, but they haven't been. Well, maybe they're going to be really upset when lockdown happens. You know, when lockdown finally gets open, everyone's going to. Could you be bothered? 5 hours. Anyway, in that whole pile there just didn't seem to be any bits. Shall I show you again what we've got to try and achieve? That made me laugh this morning when I woke up. Oh, there we go. Oh, maybe all the edge bits are in this side. That seems quite... Hang on. Ooh. Sorry. I was thinking today, I was walking the dogs and I saw the guy who goes out with my hairdresser. And who now is regretting not being a hairdresser? Because it's going to be like Christmas every day of the week the minute this all stops. My fringe is now, I can hardly see out of my own, well, I can hardly see, and I'm loath to ask any of my family to cut my fringe because they will find it absolutely hilarious to mess that right up. But they should, all hairdressers should just be taking this as a lovely, lovely rest, because they won't be able to sleep. They'll be so booked up. Right, I'm going to give you a minute where I'm going to have a quick look for some, okay? Because I think I'd be negating in my duty if I didn't make more of an effort with the actual finding. This is a Fred's background. I hope you all dance to the theme tune. I think it's very compelling. I think it's really easy to shimmy to. Really easy to shimmy to, which is why I chose it. It made me laugh the minute we played it. It's kind of naff. Svenny, I see your point really with your review as I do this bit. Oh, I tell you what I should do. I should say stand by Nicoletta, because in my normal job I would be speaking to people and telling them to stand by for a cue. So in a show, you know, if things are coming up, I stand people by to get them ready for something to happen. And I always stand by Nicoletta. And it just makes me laugh. So I might say that every time. So if you wonder why, I'm just doing some old traditional nonsense. I still say ciao a tutti to our Italian mates, because I can just throw that in. Mark, who touches his testicles behind the apron, he's married to Karen, who's German. So I say, guten Abend, meine Liebling. Wie geht's? Danke schön, meine kleine Kuchen. I don't know whether I'm saying my little kitchen or my little cake actually, but it doesn't seem to matter. They can't answer anyway. Now, yesterday, I have to confess I made a bit of a lie yesterday. In episode 2, I said Liz had written to me saying, thank you so much for the Alexa. Sophie's loving it. Now, that was a bit of a lie, because it's not a lie that I bought an Alexa for her daughter. I did. But Liz hasn't actually managed to plug the bloody thing in yet. So that child has not been able to have the joys of singing along to her age group music. So what I did there was essentially I was bullying Liz on this forum and emotionally blackmailing her into plugging that cocking Alexa in so her daughter can dance to music she wants to listen to. I meant that about The Cure, because Liz is obsessed by Love Cats and The Cure. And I think the only other song that she really is like relevant is Tilted by Christine and the Queens, which is an excellent song, I grant you. But that is anything from, that's in the 20s, you know, like the 20, whatever century we're in. Right, I give up. There are no edge bits. There can't be any edge bits. I can't find them. Can you see any as I'm doing this? Can you actually, are you shouting out? But maybe my plan is totally rubbish, because I'm just churning these over like I said yesterday. So maybe I should pull them to the side. Once they've been sifted through, I'm going to pull them over here, and I will deem them sifted. But I don't want to be too far out of the camera, otherwise you won't see me. Oh no, I've just seen my notes. No, that guy was masturbating for 3 hours, not 5. I wrote it down. I did write it down. Have any of you looked at the videos on the fruit picking? Did anybody consider fruit picking? Because I thought that would be lovely. Thought, oh, that'd be nice. Nip over to Kent, gets a little basket, pick the hops. Oh, I've always fancied that. And then I watched the video that you have to watch that actually tells you the reality of it. And essentially I gleaned from the little 15-minute video I watched that they don't actually want middle-aged old women who can't get up from their knees, because I mean, if I got a basket with hops or apples, that might be okay, but the speed they go at is, well, it's ridiculous. And also, I bet I would get the one that I saw on the video where you are on your hands and knees following a tractor. You are shearing off, what are they, lettuces, and then you're also chopping the stalk off at speed, and you're packing them like 8 to 12 at a time. The speed of it was unbelievable. They suddenly, you know, thank God I didn't apply, because they'd have had me going, oh, actually, can I have a cup of tea now? There's just no way they want all these people like me going, oh, that would be marvellous. I said to Pete, my friend Pete, who also was thinking about it, I said, Pete, it's not being funny, you'd have to get runner beans. You can't bend down to tie shoelaces. You need runner beans. Which is why he's volunteering to give that old woman gin down his street. That's the only reason, because he can't do anything else. What else is it? Now, what was that? Oh, I spoke to, and this is very confusing because there are quite a lot of matte. Hang on, I'm just going to have a cup of tea. See this mug here? It's colourful. My husband hates that. He hates novelty. Well, it's not a novelty, but he hates any mugs that have which aren't white. And gradually they'll all be smashed. So anything that isn't white or is in the cupboard, that'll be smashed soon. That is the coldest cup of tea I've ever drunk. I spoke to another Matt yesterday who, oh my God, he's heaven. Lives in Croydon. He's an astounding stage manager. He's got the smile of death. Every home should have a picture of this Matt on their walls at home, because he's so smiley that you'd like it as you came in. If you'd had a really bad day and you had a picture of this Matt on your wall with his extraordinary smile, yeah, I think everyone. He would just brighten your day just by grace of putting your hat and your coat and umbrella up, and then seeing this particular Matt smiling. And the joy I was thinking of, that would be a lovely joy, but a bit like, now I'm showing my age quite a lot here, but I sort of miss the days when you used to get a toy in your sugary cereal for the morning, like Frosties or Cocoa Pops, particular favourites of mine. And I used to delve down the side of the packet and get a toy. And I thought that was great. And I actually used to like try and race my sister to the box purely to get the toy. Don't do that anymore, do they? I think sugary cereals are underestimated in the joy they can give children. It's all gone now, though. You don't get that in like oats, do you? They should give away toys in oats. That would definitely have encouraged me. And actually, the only time I really ate Ready Break, which was a gesture towards not a sugary cereal, my mum had got this amazing sugar which was multicoloured. And so I used to melt that on top and mix it in. And that's sort of, I shoved it in, but it was only because it had the colourful sugar in, I think, on hindsight. Can any of you see? Oh, here we go. So I'm getting a little bit of a, I'm getting a few bits now. I think I can even join some. I think tomorrow I'll be able to join some. Oh, look what I've done now. What a buffoon. I've actually managed to put the bloody, I've put the bits I've churned onto my edge bits. I hope you've got 8 years to spare, you lot, because this isn't going as well as I planned. Oh, I just give myself a dead arm. I completely and utterly, just leant on my arm. I wonder how long I've done today. I mean, Scott said it was too long, but I thought podcasts are about half an hour, but maybe that's because they're interesting. Maybe he really suffered because it was so dull. I've had a couple of emails about Mike's extra work, asking to see his fine briefcase action, briefcase and escalator action. So I'm going to get that together with him. But the problem is he makes so much sourdough bread and spends a long time talking about starter, like sourdough starter. He might not have time to put it together because I just spoke to him about half an hour ago and he was just having a halloumi salad. Now, if you knew this guy when I knew him, I mean, literally, the thought that he would know what the word halloumi is is incredible how far he's come. But I find halloumi unacceptable as a cheese. People say, oh, it's just so delicious. It's not. It's chewy, it's salty, it stays in your mouth for about 8 days, like gnocchi does, and no. But the fact that Mike had some sort of sourdoughy halloumi lunch is almost testing our friendship. And I've known him since I was, 16, and I'm much, much, much older than that now, let me tell you. So you're probably screaming, I love halloumi. Well, I don't. It's absolutely disgraceful. Darren from Australia messaged me and he said, Jew, fringe or no fringe? I said no fringe. I think it's excellent, no fringe. Let's have a look. Can you see them? Can you see them? Yesterday, when I'd finished this one, Freddie had to put the music over the top of the video because the camera, it's not a great camera, obviously, and he had to put it together for me. It takes a bit longer than I thought. It was better yesterday, but I am aware that I'm sort of sucking the energy out of Fred, really. He's trying to do his studies, and I'm just taking in my little hard drive like a child and just waiting for it to come out the other end. And then I sat up really late because it takes quite a while to upload. So I'm a bit tired today. But then I just slept with the whippet last night because Matt was so asleep. I thought, I can't go and disturb him. He's so asleep, so I had to sleep in the room with the dog set. Seemed to work out. I think I was snoring. I woke up very dribbly this morning, so I think it was quite a deep sleep. Right, let me concentrate. Well, I say that, I give the impression there that you're interrupting me, but you're not. Oh, look! Does that go together? No, nearly. Oh, look though. Oh my God, I think I've just done my first actual bit of jigs. No, that's not quite right. I think I've just started my first, look, I've got 2 bits done. That must be reassuring for the viewer. Or the listener won't care because the listener's just listening to me drivel on. And I'm aware that you saw a bit of my head yesterday. I thought that was too much of me. How'd you find the black jumper? Not as nice as the orange? Thought it might be a bit classy. Also distract you from my sausagey fingers. My friend Bianca, she works for the Canadian High Commission. She's like one of our poshest friends. I think she's repatriated all of the Canadians in the area now. Well, not in the area, I don't know how many there are here, but she's been very, very busy at the Commission. I think there was a story there as well that I was going to continue with, but I totally forgot it. So Bianca, whatever I was going to say, I will continue another day with that, because that I literally petered out. I think it was the concentration on the edge pieces. I think in this. Oh, and I've written to Ravensburger today in the vain hope that they will care about my project. I don't want them to send me another jigsaw because I can't finish this one, but I just thought, why not? I thought, well, I bet jigsaws are pretty busy at the moment with all the quarantining. I thought, no, I've got to write to them and tell them. Funny enough, haven't heard a response yet, but that might be because Freddie got to them before me. I'm quite pleased. I think I've done a few more edge pieces today than I have on any other day. Let's have a look. Pete, who I spoke about earlier, he used to do a lot of mud larking, and he found the most amazing things in the mud. He stopped that now, but he's gone on to finding bits of restored pottery, crockery, and no, he doesn't have a girlfriend. So he's going all over the town finding, or getting up very early. I say all over the town, he's getting up very early when he could, before this all happened. Driving to markets and finding an old teapot with a broken handle and stuff, and then the Victorians used to staple their stuff together. This has given an energy in Pete that I haven't seen for years, him finding all this stuff. Anyway, he was watching some period drama the other day because that's sort of what he does now, and then he sometimes gets up and goes to the bathroom, but mainly he watches period dramas, and he sent me a screenshot because he was so delighted. He wasn't actually watching the action, he was watching the crockery on the table. And he sent me a screenshot of an old teapot. And he was so happy. There we go. He was so happy because he was so thrilled with the props team that they'd made so much effort, and they said that they'd actually found a teapot with a stapled handle. So Scott, if you thought I was dull, let's have a look. Scott's really busy now because Scott the accountant is very busy now because he's basically now got loads of people going, what do I do? I don't have a job and no money, what do I do? And I'm going to try and do my accounts early because, well, obviously I've got this, I'm very, very busy, but in between this I should send him my account so I don't end up doing it on December the 31st like usual and him just very disappointed in me. But last year he sent me my accounts on Christmas Eve, so, or the year before that was, he sent me on Christmas Eve, which was obviously delightful. So I said as a joke, why don't you send them to me on my birthday, which is the 23rd of December. So I said, oh, you know, it was a bit, I said, oh, thank you so much for that. Next year send them on my birthday to make my birthday really great. And he bloody did. He sent them to me on my birthday, my bill. So, yeah. So maybe I should make this longer for Scott to listen to because of his boldness. Gemma, I wonder how many people you've admitted to the Cardiff Nightingale today. Hopefully none. Not a nun. Hopefully none. Right, I don't know, but I think I possibly have done enough for you today. But I think that's enough today. So you just have to message me because I don't know about Matt's plan, about me doing stuff off camera and doing the jigsaw, but I also see his point that I haven't really achieved very much in the way of the jigsaw. So it's up to you really. Well, it's not because everybody's going to have a different opinion, aren't they? But I'm happy as Larry to keep trying to find these edge pieces. If you're happy as Larry to continue. Oh, you see, just when I was feeling all like I'm letting you down, there's another bit. And that looks like it goes with, there's little groups of these edge beats coming together now. See, I was just putting myself out of a little routine then, because my husband got involved, you see. But now, look. Ooh. In front of your eyes, I've done 4 pieces. I've put 4 pieces together today. Oh, I've got extra bits in there. Stupid woman. Actually, I think it's going to be very rewarding, ultimately, this. Don't you? Look, yellow. Here we go. No, that doesn't fit. No, I think I'm going to do what I think. I'm not going to listen to Matt. He never listens to me. So I think that I'm just going to carry on like this. I'm going to use you and your enormous brains. And then if you're interested and I can make it work, we'll do a live one. And you can shout to me, Jew, over there. It's over there. And that might be quite hilarious. And on that day I'll do personal, sexual and emotional problems as well, which I know everybody's got loads of. So we'll never run out of material with you lot. Right. I hope you have a lovely day. Look after yourself. Matt, Fred's going to fade in the music now. And as the music comes in, I'd like you to start lightly shimmying. But lots of love to you all. Stay safe. Wet wipe everywhere. Nathan, enjoy the man masturbating for 3 hours. See if you can go for longer. And I love you. Bye.